everybody, and welcome back to the 52-week movie challenge. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and I'm here to do this. So, as we've been going down every week, I forgot how many weeks it's been. We'll find out in a second. It's been a good amount. 33 weeks so far. We're at a sequel. So I decided to do Cruel Intentions 3. So you got Kerr Smith, and then you got the girls. We'll get into this stuff in a second. Um, so Cruel Intentions 3, the year release was 2004. Date challenge completed was 8/15/22. Aspect ratios 178:1. Running times an hour and 25 minutes. Drama rated R, starring Kerr Smith, Christina Anapu. I'm probably saying that wrong. Sorry, Christina. And Nathan Witherington. Um, we'll get into who they are in a little bit. Scott Zeal directed, produced by Neil Moritz, who's produced all three of the original movies and stuff. So, written by Rhett Deadpool Reese. He's gone on to do some big movies. So you gotta start somewhere, and he started here. Um, oh, I forgot to write who did the music. So music is done by, sorry, usually I have this down. Um, David Reynolds. Don't know him offhand, but all right, cool. Nominated for Best Cinematography, for DVD exclusive awards. I've never heard of them. That sounds awesome. I did not know there was a DVD exclusive award. So this guy actually won no, cinematography. The cinematographer won, almost nominated for best cinematography. Awesome. Why did I choose this particular film? Because I've just been in the mood to watch it. Um have you seen this movie before? Nope. Just It's in one of those moods where I was like, you know what? I've never seen Cruel Intentions 3, and I was watching Butterfly Effect 2. So I was like, well, if I haven't seen part 3 of that, I'll see if it's on Tubi and do it for the sequel. And it was. Um, would I recommend this film? Why or why not? I said, nope. It's too mean-spirited and not as much fun. And sorry, Kerr. I really like you, and I like him as an actor in the movie. I just hated the character. Well, we'll get into that. Which character were you most able to identify or connect with in what way? And I said none. And I said, thank God they are all atrocious. Um, Best line or memorable quote was, the only problem with fucking with someone as twisted as yourself is you're fucking with someone as twisted as yourself. You know. Um, like that. Cassidy said that. Were you surprised by the ending? What would you do differently? I was a little bit surprised. I had no idea the direction it was going to go, and I wouldn't change it. Was this sequel better or worse than its predecessor, and why? Way worse. In fact, I liked part two better than part three. It was just a little too nasty without the charm, or nice guy arc. And we'll get into that. Did this film meet your expectations? Why or why not? No, I was sadly let down. I was kind of hoping it would be at least as good as part two. Anything else I'd like to add? Nope. If you want to see it, like, my recommendation and everything, didn't turn you off, uh, see it on Tubi for free. I wouldn't waste money on it. I have it on DVD, and I'm very happy I do because I have the other two. And I'm kind of OCD on that. Like, if I have the first two movies of something, I want the third. There's only one other thing, like the Beverly Hills Chihuahuas, that I'm like missing one of the movies, I think. So it drives me nuts because I'm like, I want that. I want to have that eventually. But maybe I have all three by now. Um, so I have all three of these, and I just never watched it. It's not like I wasn't. I guess I just was never in the mood. to check it out. And I had just met Kerr Smith at Scarce I Care, and he was very, very nice. And I wish I had talked to him about this because I just forgot about it until I was looking up Cruel Intentions 3 and I saw, oh, Kerr is in this movie. Okay, cool. Um, and okay, so in Final Destination, Kerr plays like this really bad guy. Well, a kind of a jerk, not really bad guy, but jerk, kind of character. This he plays a jerk, but he's kind of playing it in the Ryan Phillippe style of like, I'm this rich guy, I can do whatever. But I just don't I just don't see it like I see it with Ryan Phillippe. Like Ryan can just pull that off. Kerr just comes off as too nice of a guy, even when he's trying to be a douche. And it sort of gave me mixed feelings when I was watching it. So the story goes that basically these all these characters go to the same college. They're all in their 30s or so. They're going to this college, and they are basically uh you know like they would have like little bets on who can have sex with who, and then they would backstab each other and betray each other. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling Cruel Intentions, but the problem with that is Cruel Intentions, the first movie. Let's look at that. I don't really remember the second one, but I remember it because it's written by the same writer-director, Roger Kumble, that I was like, okay, it has the same feel. And I'll get into part two in a little bit. And so part one was made, and it was basically Ryan Phillippe and Sarah Michelle Gellar have wager all these bets, kind of turn on each other. Then the guy kind of feels for the girl, so he feels bad for doing it. It's Reese Witherspoon, who uh later becomes Brian Phillippe's real life wife. And so it had that going for it. It had like him falling for her and everything, and then uh there's also the Selma Blair stuff. So all that stuff like worked out. Like it was really well done because at the end of the movie he starts to kind of have a heart and kind of feels bad because he actually falling in love with the girl that he's kind of pursuing. And in this there's no falling in love except he's already always in love with Cassidy, which is the cousin to Sarah Michelle Gellar's character, which I mean they had to have somebody be like a cousin or whatever. But they just don't have that feel. Like they just don't have that um it doesn't have that spark that the first one did. And once again, I think the second one was meant to be like a TV show, and then it was a pilot that was like meant to be a TV show, and then it didn't the pilot didn't get picked up, so they ended up just making it into a movie. And I think that's brilliant, actually. I think more companies should do that. I think it would cost more money, but if you have something good here, you can make a TV movie. And this was about the time that like um DVD purchases and stuff or whatever, like DVDs were, doing really well at video stores. Nowadays, DVDs are kind of going away and it's all streaming. So it would be like if they did it now, they would have put it for streaming or something, put in like HBO Max or something, be an HBO original with it being Cruel Intentions 3. And if they ever do a four, that's where it most likely goes. They would go to Tubi or HBO Max or another streaming company. So, with that being said, uh, all in all, like I didn't hate the movie. Like I didn't. I gave it 2.5 stars. Forgot to mention that. I gave it 2.5 stars, and the reason being, originally I was going to give it two, but the ending. So there's a character in it. who's sort of a fucking jerk. And at first he's coughing and he's nerdy, and that's all an act. Later, he gets mad because like this girl's not into him, which I'm sorry. If the girl's not attracted to you, she's not attracted to you. But then he like pulls this like shit and he ends up raping her. So then he ends up raping the other girl, Cassidy, and they all like make it, or they kind of all band together and they have him arrested for rape at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, sorry, go see it on TV. You know, um, so I was like watching that going, I don't like any of that. Like I didn't like that arc. I didn't like that stuff. At the end of the day, she ends up still playing hard to get to him, even though she was like all into him, taking it slow or whatever. She ends up leaving him and going for someone else, and I'm like, really? Like, what was this? What? Why did this even like have to get made? Like, what was the point? Other than to make another Cruel Intentions movie. It was just pretty pathetic. I was not happy with it, especially knowing that the guy who did Deadpool, which I think Deadpool is one of my favorite Marvel franchises, and I'm really excited to see what Rhett Reese does with Deadpool 3, or whatever for Marvel, for the MCU. But like this, I was just really kind of bummed out about. Like I said, I liked the first one a lot. It's like one of my favorite films. And then the second one was okay. Like it felt like a sequel, like it wasn't better, but it wasn't like way worse. This was way worse than all of them put together. So, if I were you guys and you had to choose to watch it, I wouldn't watch it. But if you need to know, like, if you've seen the first two and you're like, man, I just found out there's a third one. I gotta see it. Watch it. But understand you may turn it off. Like, literally, if I wasn't reviewing it, I would have turned this off. And I don't really like to turn off movies, but it turned me off. There was the best scene in the movie was really fucked up scene, but it really was like made it go, okay, this is fucking twisted. Is that the guy basically somehow or another, and I'm not gonna get into all that, but he gets this girl who's in a relationship with a guy to come out to this like field trip thing that they were doing. I don't know what it's called when they're adults, but they go on this trip. She ends up, I guess, being in his room. He ends up kind of getting her to play this game where there's either slave or master, you know. And then when she's a slave, he calls up her boyfriend, has her talk on the phone, and then just ends up messing around with her. That was the best scene, but it was more fun too because it wasn't rape because she was actually into it. Like at any time he was like gonna quit it or whatever. But the other guy was very rapey and stuff, and they even have a talk about that, like the difference. And you can tell he hates women. And it seems like he hates women because like some women just don't find him attractive, and look, I understand there's a lot of women out there that don't find me attractive, but as it is what it is, it doesn't I get a little obviously, I'm a little disappointed, but there's the big difference. So I think it just it there's something about it that just really turned me off, and so I wasn't into that. But all in all, I thought, it was a fun. It wasn't fun. It was not fun. It was a interesting movie because once again, I like, other than if they had taken away cat that Marteau or whatever name to it or whatever, this would feel like a Cruel Intentions ripoff, but wouldn't feel like a sequel. So literally it was sort of supposed to be a sequel, and I didn't like it. So all in all, it was it was 2.5 stars. I only gave it the half a star because at the end of it, I liked the fact that the dude got turned into the cops and arrested and shit, like he deserved. But other than that, then it ended with the stuff at the pool and her turning him down at the end. I was just like, really? Like, what did what did any of this even matter then? Like, why do I care right now? So anyway, that was that. So next week's challenge is week 34, and it's set during the Great Depression. So I have a movie in mind for that because I skimmed and checked it out, and I have a movie in mind for that. But if I don't do that movie, there's plenty of others that I looked up that I'm like, oh, okay, this might be okay to do during the, you know. It's kind of funny to do it now, as a lot of people say sort of in another depression right now. Not nearly as depressing. Um, but it would be interesting to watch one of those. So it's not my normal cup of tea, but I will uh for this whole experiment. I'll have fun with it. So anyway, that's my Cruel Intentions 3 one. I'm about to do in a little bit my Butterfly Effect 2, which sort of has the same kind of feel. Like, these are like direct to video crappy sequels. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it and let me know what you guys think. And if you guys had seen Cruel Intentions 3, let me know your thoughts. Until next week. Bye.